Your kids could get free or low-cost health coverage from Medicaid or CHIP. Even if you've applied before, they may be eligible now. Kids up to age 19 are covered for checkups, vaccines, dentist visits, hospital care, and more. And if they already have Medicaid or CHIP, remember to renew every year. Visit insurekidsnow.gov or call 877-KIDS-NOW. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Bugs crashing your pack's party? Whether they've got paws or sneakers, your pack deserves a home that's protected from pests. That's where Wondercide comes in. Plant-powered protection made with steam-distilled natural essential oils that actually work. It kills and repels fleas, ticks, mosquitoes, and ants without questionable ingredients or overpowering smells. Safe to use around kids and pets when used as directed. Lab-proven to work fast. And proudly made in the USA. We offer sprays for pets, people, homes, and yards. Plus, spot-on treatments, collars, and even shampoos. Whatever your pack needs, we've got it covered. Founded by a pet parent looking for a better way to protect her dog Luna, Wondercide's now protected over 21 million lives and counting. You might have even seen us on Shark Tank. Go to Wondercide.com and use code WONDER20 for 20% off your first order. That's WONDER20 at Wondercide.com. Wondercide. Protect your pack with plant-powered Wondercide today.
Welcome to the Kulturecast. I'm Chris Stachiw, and I am joined by two people that you have heard on this show before, but not at the same time. Joining me once again is my good friend, Father Malone.
Are we limp and hard to manage?
Wow, simply stunning. And my good friend, you have heard her on this podcast many times before. She is a writer, jack of all trades. She is a genuinely good human being, on top of everything else, because she has to put up with, listening to me talk about Steven Seagal and getting roped into that nonsense for an hour and a half. Heather Drain.
Hi, Dr. Dudes.
My good Lord. So, on this episode, and the final episode of You've Never Seen September, it's a film I haven't seen. Which
look at that.
Ties into the... Yeah, exactly. So we're actually talking about 1988's musical comedy romance aliens fuck people film, Earth Girls Are Easy.
She's a girl from Southern California, looking for Mr. Right and finding Mr. Wrong.
You brought a girl home to have sex?
Well, you weren't supposed to be here, Val.
If meaningless sex is what you want, why can't you have it with me?
They're aliens lost in space, looking for somewhere to land. It's love at first fright. Earth Girls Are Easy.
I'm going to show you something that's going to totally change your life completely forever. Are they straight? I don't know. They're aliens.
So, what do you do with three furry aliens?
You've got to cut their hair.
What did you say?
You're incredible.
So, what's the plan for tonight?
We can't go out with these guys. They're aliens.
They can still be dates.
Their close encounters are of a different kind. Dancing in our nightclubs.
I'm going home with him.
Driving on our highways. Playing on our beaches. They boldly go where no alien has gone before.
We may not even be, anatomically correct for each other. That could be a real problem. No problem.
Earth Girls Are Easy.
What is easy?
This is easy.
So the film is directed by Julien Temple. It stars Geena Davis, Jeff Goldblum, Jim Carrey, Damon Wayans, and Julie Brown, along with Charles Rocket, who is kind of the reason that Heather is here.
I love Charles Rocket.
And the film is about Jeff Goldblum, Jim Carrey, and Damon Wayans as aliens who crash land on Earth and then want some trim. I mean, hey, you know what? That's a pretty fucking succinct way to describe this movie. But you know what? This movie's really fun. Before we talk about it, Father Malone, I would ask you why you picked this movie. But there aren't a lot of Geena Davis movies in the 80s, so it's not like you had a whole lot of choices.
That's true, but I think I kind of concocted the entire category just to talk about this particular film. I'm not saying it's like a better film than Beetlejuice, but it's a movie I will put on more often than Beetlejuice. That's how much I love it. So, yeah, Earth Girls Are Easy.
So, Heather, why are you here? What actor brought you to this junction in your podcasting career?
Well, there's actually multiple reasons probably why I'm here. The main one is, of course, you mentioned Charles Rocket. I'm a huge fan of Charles Rocket. I actually have a column over at my website called The Rocket Files, where I'm profiling, different works, because a lot of people just know him for either being on SNL or maybe the guy that was in Dumb and Dumber, but he had such a rich career and was such a talented force and just such a great presence. But also this film I saw when it first came out on video. I remember renting it when I was, I think, 9. Because I was a huge Julie Brown fan. Julie Brown was one of my early role models as a young lass. So, of course, I had to see it. Yes, Just Say Julie. She had a show on MTV. And there wasn't, a lot of, she was, the redheaded idol for me that was just irreverent and sassy and kind of crazy. And she had big boobs, which was awesome. Because, when you're a little kid, you want to look like Elvira. But you're 9, so yeah, you don't, and it's good in retrospect that you didn't. But I just that's so. Those two factors brought me to this movie.
Can I just say that I remember Charles Rocket from Max Headroom, the pilot episode of Max Headroom.
Yeah,
that's where I sort of first became aware of him. And yeah, much props to Julie Brown during the 1980s. There was nothing quite like her, and this is sort of the perfect culmination of all of her obsessions, I think.
And you know what brought me to this film is Father Malone, because he programmed this month. It's weird. So the weird thing about this movie is I had seen stills from it before, and look, Jim Carrey in the 80s is not the Jim Carrey of the 90s. Jim Carrey in the 90s, one could make the assertion, and I don't think that they would be wrong, because I'm about to make it, and I would like to see if someone would find a hole in it. No one had a better career as a comedian in the 90s than Jim Carrey. I mean, he was making these movies that made him millions of dollars, and he was signing contracts for millions of dollars. And I mean, some of the movies that he made in the 90s are some of the comedy classics of the 90s. Whether or not you like them is a different story, but they made tons of money, and they put Jim Carrey on the track to where he is now, which is seemingly coming back as a comedic actor. He took a weird detour into drama, and weird is the only word to describe it. But Jim Carrey isn't in this movie enough to talk about him, because it's pretty much a Geena Davis and Jeff Goldblum movie, which is fine because they're amazing. It was almost Jeff Goldblum and Geena Davis month, Father Malone, by the way.
Oh yeah, well, they kind of were inextricably linked in the 1980s, both cinematically and romantically. But I agree. I mean, that a little Jim Carrey goes a long way. Specifically, early Jim Carrey, who was even more over the top than he kind of got known for. So I think he's in this movie just the right amount. I think he's funny in the movie, and I like him in the movie a lot. And it's always weird going back and watching the movie and seeing how goddamn young he is, but.
Your kids could get free or low-cost health coverage from Medicaid or CHIP. Even if you've applied before, they may be eligible now. Kids up to age 19 are covered for checkups, vaccines, dentist visits, hospital care, and more. And if they already have Medicaid or CHIP, remember to renew every year. Visit insurekidsnow.gov or call 877-KIDS-NOW. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Bugs crashing your pack's party? Whether they've got paws or sneakers, your pack deserves a home that's protected from pests. That's where Wondercide comes in. Plant-powered protection made with steam-distilled natural essential oils that actually work. It kills and repels fleas, ticks, mosquitoes, and ants without questionable ingredients or overpowering smells. Safe to use around kids and pets when used as directed. Lab-proven to work fast. And proudly made in the USA. We offer sprays for pets, people, homes, and yards. Plus, spot-on treatments, collars, and even shampoos. Whatever your pack needs, we've got it covered. Founded by a pet parent looking for a better way to protect her dog Luna, Wondercide's now protected over 21 million lives and counting. You might have even seen us on Shark Tank. Go to Wondercide.com and use code WONDER20 for 20% off your first order. That's WONDER20 at Wondercide.com. Wondercide. Protect your pack with plant-powered Wondercide today.
Yeah, this is definitely a Geena Davis movie, and more power to it.
Absolutely. Yeah, what's weird to me is, I'm trying to remember the timeline, because Once Bitten came out before this movie, correct?
85,
so I want to say, yeah, he looks younger to me in this movie than he did in Once Bitten.
I think it's
I
the
agree.
hair.
Yeah, it's the blonde.
It's gotta be.
I totally agree.
But now
having a different hair color makes you look younger. Father Malone.
Well, I don't know what color. I don't know what age it makes me look, but does green have a number? Do I look younger with green hair? I mean, what are we talking about here?
I don't know.
Back to the movie.
But no, I'm glad you guys pointed out, because yeah, I mean, Davis and Goldblum were kind of like the power couple of 80s like cult film.
Oh yeah,
because they're in another film that I love dearly, that doesn't always get the love. Some people hate it. In fact,
here we go.
They're wrong. It's Transylvania 65000.
No, that movie is bad.
I love it.
No, god damn it.
It's so good. Shut up.
You're like one of those secret jurors. You came on here to derail this with Transylvania 6500 chat. You know what? Father Malone likes that movie, so...
I do like that movie, and I got skewered by him and Mike White when we talked about it.
Oh, I'm sorry. You know what's funny is a recent recording I did with Mike, it was for Motel Hell. That movie came up, and Mike was like, "No, I hate it." And I was like, "Mike, it's so good. How could you?" I'm not saying it's a masterpiece, but it's so much fun. And I mean, come on, Joseph Bologna, come on,
yeah.
And Geena Davis is like this weird, sexy, like nymphomaniac vampiress, like.
Oh God.
Oh.
Yeah.
And that theme song, come on, Transylvania 65000. It's so, oh, come on.
No, it's it's so fuck. Michael Richards deflates any love I could have for that movie.
Oh,
he's bad in it. I'll admit that even.
I was fine with them. I mean, granted, I'm all about the Bologna. Come on, like any character that talks like Chico Marx when they become a mad scientist. I mean, that's just love right there.
But this movie is better, though, right?
Remarkably better, yeah.
No?
Remarkably.
Wait, Heather, is this not better than Transylvania 65000?
I mean, technically, yes.
Oh my God, now I'm worried. I mean, look, this movie, it's not doing anything particularly out of the box with the plot. You have aliens crash, and it's a fish out of water story. I mean, we've seen these kinds of movies before, but you have Jeff Goldblum, you have Geena Davis, Jim Carrey and Damon Wayans do enough. Julie Brown is great as well. It's a fun movie. There's a lot of fun things going on. I read some reviews at the time that were like, well, it's just a glorified music video. I wouldn't go that far.
No, it's not quite to that level.
The beginning of the movie kind of feels that way.
Yeah, I mean, look, it is a musical. It takes place in the 1980s. It was shot in the 80s. MTV was king at the time, so those comparisons were going to come up. Anytime you did anything musically after the birth of MTV, it was you're just making a full-length music video. But, you know, I got to say something about this movie. Like, the tone of the movie is so sort of buoyant and experimental for what otherwise is just sort of a regular studio film from the 1980s, that it's hard to classify this movie. Like, there are stakes, but they're not really heavy, and like all of the actions that are taking place are so ridiculous, but it somehow seems to work, you know? Like, there's a scene late in the movie where the three aliens have piled into Charles Rocket's BMW, and they get in the car and they're driving, and Charles Rocket doesn't notice that there are three grown men in his back seat, and it did not bother me at all as a viewer. I think that speaks to the power of this particular flick.
Yeah. Well, and I think with the music video criticism, I always find that kind of weird when critics pull that out with films, because if you study the history of music video, which is kind of one of my passions, so much, especially if you're talking like early music video, like 70s and 80s, were inspired by experimental film. They, it wasn't just hatched out of an egg. I mean, we wouldn't really have music videos without people like Maya Deren or Kenneth Anger, among others. So it's it seems always sort of just like people being a little cranky, just critics being cranky, and it is such a fun film. It's such a candy. It's like a piece of candy. This film. I mean, it's light, it's fluffy. You always enjoy it. It's a good thing to throw on, especially if you're having like a bad day. Just throw on Earth Girls Are Easy and you'll have a smile. And there's some really good jokes in this movie too.
Yeah.
Including, because like there were some things that went over my head as a kid watching this movie, and like rewatching it, especially recently in preparation for this. Like, I don't know if this is your guys' favorite line, but there's this scene early on where Charles Rocket plays Geena Davis's fiance, Dr. Ted, and he's a total cad, and he's in the gym complaining, and one guy's like, I hear oysters are real potent, and the other guy says, yeah, I tried that once, but they kept slipping off.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That is one of the best jokes I've heard in a long time in a movie. Even if it does give me the unfortunate mental image of somebody putting roy oysters on their wang, but the film is so much fun. Like, it really, really is, and it shows, like, man, Geena Davis is such an underrated actress. I mean, as famous as she is, that might sound weird, but she is, like, so funny, and just, she's great with comedy, but then she can be, like, this great action star, and she can do drama. Like, she's definitely, I think, more of a powerhouse than I think she gets credited for.
Well, and I think part of that goes to the fact that she's also now semi-retired / retired. So she's kind of removed herself from the conversation, which in the industry of Hollywood, as soon as you remove yourself from the conversation, people quickly forget. Mm. Which is unfortunate. Well, like, if she were coming out with movies every year, I agree with you, but I think you would have more people talking about her.
Maybe, but I mean, I think when women of a certain age in Hollywood, I mean, I think it's better than it used to be, but I also still think there's a big element of just sort of like, well, you're either like the hot, sexy young thing or your grandma. Yeah, case in point, like Marissa Tomei playing, I didn't watch this movie, but like playing like one of the Spider-Man movies, she's playing like...
She's like Aunt May.
She's Aunt May. It's sexy Aunt May is what she's called.
It's like, I don't think that character ever looked like hot ass Marissa Tomei. Like, but because she's
now.
Like, until now.
But she always should have.
Exactly.
I mean, considering how comic books, who were their initial audience is written for, yeah. What's the point of making her an old lady?
No, you know what? No, just not putting aside the hotness factor of having Marissa Tomei play it as a.
Hello, this is Aaron West. I am the author of the A24 New Wave. In this book, I look at A24's output and I make the argument that we are in a new wave movement right now. A24 plays a major role. This book has a supplemental podcast where each episode is a brief conversation about an A24 related topic, whether an actor, director, or even a genre. As I continue research for the book and conduct interviews, I expect to record podcast episodes with people involved with the company. You can find the podcast at cinejourneys.com or wherever you find podcasts, and we are proud to be members of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Hello, this is Chris Haskell from They Live by Film. For those that don't know us, Adam, Zach, and I, we built a podcast over the last 2 years that's a combination of film discussion from 3 very different perspectives, as well as industry interviews with the leaders in boutique Blu-ray and 4K community. We started with Dev Crocodile, but over time we've been lucky enough to speak with Arrow Video, Severin, Mondo Macabro, Vinegar Syndrome, Radiance, Indicator, most of the OCN partner labels. It's been a blast. You can find us wherever you podcast, and also actually recently as part of Someone's Favorite Production Podcast Network. We hope to see you online.
To say Sally Field, who was the previous actress to play the role, just with that character Spider-Man, like that's his aunt, and his aunt is his grandmother's age, which means his parents were also that age. It makes more sense that she would be like his aunt. That's all. That's just a pet peeve of mine with Spider-Man. I always thought Aunt May was too old, and they just made her matronly for no good reason. But anyway.
Well, I mean,
back to Earth Girls Are Easy.
So that people couldn't get all horned up when they watched the movies with her in them.
Were they thinking that far ahead?
I mean, if they weren't thinking that when they cast her opposite Robert Downey Jr. and he's making glib remarks about her, yeah, they had to have.
Oh, I'm talking about the original sort of creation. Well. I'm talking about the character as a whole, that it should have been pitched to that age. That's all. I don't care who's playing the part.
Well, now I'm pretty sure that Aunt May is dead in the comics now, so.
That's horrible.
Well. Well, you got your wish, okay? They can bring her back to life as a sexy younger lady.
She's a sexy corpse now.
Yeah. Oh God. Oh man.
As we have the necromantic version of Spider-Man, but
there's that lead pipe. They need the pipe.
Earth Girls Are Easy.
Yes. So, what do you guys, with it being a musical, what do you guys think about the music element in the film?
I mean, it's Niles Rodgers, so.
Yeah, I think the music is really good, and I am also a huge fan of Julie Brown, and, not only was she sort of, like, doing a comedic thing, which was really funny, and, like, so obviously screenwriting, and eventually, like, two TV shows. She had one on Fox, too. But her song parodies were really fantastic in the 1980s. They weren't like Weird Al, who was just parodying popular songs. She was just writing sort of originals, which is always fun when it comes to novelty records. And I think her music is really smart and really funny and catchy as hell. So the more of her songs that were in this movie, the better. In fact, I think they should have jettisoned some other songs, like the horrible Hall & Oates version of Love Train over the end credits.
Oh, thank you. Oh my God, what did the OJs ever do to Hall & Oates for that
real
cover?
Bad.
Jesus. Yeah. Well, and especially considering on her 1984 album, she had a song called Earth Girls Are Easy. But
I'm saying, why wasn't that playing over the end credits? It absolutely should have.
Exactly. No, agreed. Yeah. No, her songs, there's still like lyrics I quote to this day, like especially from, obviously the Homecoming Queen's Got a Gun, and Girl Fight Tonight, especially because as Chris knows this about me, I'm a huge wrestling fan. So I tend to quote, it's not the most politically correct thing. But
Heather and I get to quote wrestling a lot.
Yeah, which, by the way, I noticed there's a guy in the Because I'm a Blonde beach sequence that looks like a young Kenny Omega. I know it's not Kenny, because Kenny was probably 8 or whatever when they made this, but he looks like Kenny, so.
I mean, they had to have a scene at the beach in a movie set in Southern California, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
In the Valley.
In the Valley, of course.
Yeah.
And that scene was inserted, long after production was done.
And it feels like it.
It sure does.
It feels so out of place.
Speaking of the music in this movie, when they go to the Griffith Observatory, which they've turned into the disco sequence, there's a song playing in the background called "I Like 'Em Big and Stupid" by Julie Brown. That there was supposed to be an actual musical sequence of her singing that song, which got cut out for whatever reason, and then to sort of fill that gap, they did "But I'm a Blonde" at the end, which I think is a shame, because I think "But I'm a Blonde" is a hilarious song, but the other song is better and deserved more of a spotlight. So that's my only criticism with the musical choices in this film, was the filmmakers' choices themselves.
Yeah, agreed. And what's weird is I was reading that when the soundtrack came out, Geena Davis's big number, they didn't have her version of the song. on there. It was Jill Jones, who I love Jill Jones. And if anybody out there listening is a big Prince fan, you probably are familiar with her. She was part of the Revolution pre-Wendy and Lisa. She's the one that you see in the 1999 video next to Lisa. So she was during Lisa, pre-Wendy. But yeah, come where they don't have Geena. Like, come on.
I did not. So this is again to the fact I'd never seen this before. I didn't realize it was going to be a musical.
Oh, nice.
Good.
Right. Well, and again, like, I have nothing against musicals. Obviously, I love musicals. That's not it at all. But sometimes when you're watching a movie and you're not expecting a musical number, it's like, oh shit, where did this come from? But in this movie, it makes so much sense. This movie is like the film equivalent of Cotton Candy. Like, you know, and that's not, I mean, like you've already said, Heather, like, that's not a knock against the movie. That should just set you up for what you should be expecting when you watch the film. You're, like, barely invested, but it's still entertaining. I mean, there's, like even Father Malone said, there's no stakes to this damn movie. There's none. Like, you know that it's going to have a happy ending because it's a movie where there's furry men that end up being Jim Carrey, Damon Wayans, and Jeff Goldblum, all looking like Adonises of the late 80s.
I love that descriptor. That is an awesome descriptor. Well, and even like the lighting and the design of all the furniture, it has this really great kind of retro, kitsch kind of campy look to it, which I adore. And I mean, and complete with having 2 songs by the B-52s on the soundtrack, which seems perfect.
Right, like they were poised for their comeback when this movie sort of came out and used that. Those choices are great for the movie, absolutely. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, no stakes, but it doesn't really impact the film. Also, speaking to like just the film itself, it kind of touches on one of my obsessions, which is Los Angeles of that time period, sort of like 82 to 90. Like, you see it in films, and for some reason, that always looks the best to me. And 9 times out of 10, they're dirtying the town down, but this is the sort of bright, poppy Los Angeles that I think we all dream about when we think about the town. And I think Julien Temple played, like, fully into that. And, I mean, down to putting Angeline in the film, who, I'm sure people know of her, but, like, she is sort of, like... like a Jesus figure in Los Angeles, where you could be having a bad day, but somehow if you see Angeline driving around in her pink Corvette, like, it makes your day better. So this movie's like a perfect confection of all of the wonder that could be LA.
Oh gosh, I know. I always like pop so hard when I see Angeline in this because I find her so fascinating. And she is. I love that. Like, somebody should write a short story called The Jesus of LA. That is a great sentence and title.
Well, they are making a television series about her, so.
Oh, wow.
So who is she? Like, I know who she is in the movie, but she's just...
Right. You've seen the billboard. If you've ever seen, like, an episode of Moonlighting, she's in the credits of that. Like, she has billboards.
Hello, my name is Kevin Tudor, and I'm one of the 3 hosts of Almost Major, a film podcast dissecting many major indie studios and the films they release. Every week, myself, Charlie Nash, and Bryden Doyle discuss overlooked, forgotten, or bona fide classic indie films via studio-specific miniseries. We've previously covered numerous films from Artisan Entertainment, Lionsgate Films, and New Line Cinema. Titles including The Blair Witch Project, American Psycho, Dogville, But I'm a Cheerleader, Saw, Requiem for a Dream, and Ringmaster. You know, the Jerry Springer film. Anyways, we have a fun time every week, and we hope you will join us. Subscribe to Almost Major wherever you get your podcasts. Now proudly a part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
In Los Angeles that just feature a picture of herself, and it says Angeline. And they've been up since, I think, like, the late 70s, and there's always been a billboard of her, and it's advertising nothing. She's not looking for a job. She just likes to have herself sort of publicized, and somehow it's this weird mythical Los Angeles character that she did that. And I mean, she occasionally shows up in things like, obviously, this movie. And Chris, you might find this interesting because she's in Phantom of the Paradise.
Yes.
When we first meet Phoenix, when Winslow's coming up the stairs, he's passing a couple of girls, and like the last 2 before Phoenix, the blonde is Angeline. I don't think she has a line or anything, but that's definitely her.
Oh my God. Father Malone, you have touched my heart and my soul by mentioning that. And especially because I'm a fan of the Paradise movie. I love Earth Girls Are Easy. I've legit watched Fan of the Paradise probably dozens of times at least since the 90s. It is one of my favorite movies ever. And
it's spectacular.
And it is the literal reason that Father Malone and I are friends.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to look up your video. I want to see that. Like,
you wouldn't be part of the people who haven't seen it, though.
Yeah, okay.
The name of his videos are You've Never Seen, and it's about a movie that theoretically most people that aren't into movies like some of us are should not have seen. But people like to comment on Father Malone's stuff and say, well, I've seen it.
Yeah, my number one comment is, but I have seen this movie. Like, really angry about it, too.
Well, how dare you say that they haven't seen something?
Yeah. Yeah, you know. Thanks for watching. That's what I always
Don't level that accusation against me, that I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
That's the internet. There's always going to be somebody with a very strongly worded comment because
they're trying
X,
to
Y,
cut us
and
to
Z.
the core.
But no, this film, that is such a great thing. It is kind of like a Valentine to that era of LA, which has since, become a lot more gentrified and just, you don't really see as many. There's so many of those great, like, kind of like neon signs and all of that. And it's, it's such a good looking movie. It really, to my knowledge, has this ever been released on Blu-ray? Like, I have the special edition DVD that is several years old at this point. I would love to get this on Blue, but I couldn't find one online. Do you guys know if it's out or?
I
do not.
I didn't see anything, and that's kind of surprising because this feels like the kind of film that would get picked up by like Kino or Scream Factory or somebody, right?
Seriously. I mean, given some of the films that have come out.
Like Transylvania 65000 was released by fucking Kino Lorber. Like, come on. And this film hasn't gotten a Blu-ray release? Really?
Well, and what's funny is Kino's also released a film that I'm going to be writing about for the next Rocket Files, which is It's Pat.
Yes, It's Pat. I have a friend in that movie. He's in the crowd scene at the end.
Oh, man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And to answer your question, no, there has not been a Blu-ray release of this film. This film, it's on Amazon Prime if you want to rent it. It's also on IMDb TV, which I guess is IMDb's attempt to get into the streaming world. Fine. Okay. At least it's free, maybe. It does seem to be a film that's harder to find. And I mean, it doesn't get... I think the thing that's weird about this movie for me is, for a lot of folks, this is going to be a surprise that Jeff Goldblum is in it. Like, this just doesn't seem like the kind of thing that... I mean, Jeff Goldblum now, obviously, would... you know what I mean? It's just weird, I guess, for some people.
Oh, my gosh. This is maybe arguably peak Goldblum. Because, not to... I don't want to fangirl too hard, but that's a handsome man. Like, when he comes out...
He's never looked better, right?
Oh, yeah. I was like...
Yeah, you're right. It's like peak perfection Jeff Goldblum, physically, definitely, in this movie.
Oh,
he's a dashing gentleman.
So dashing. Yeah, and Geena Davis, I mean, obviously they have great chemistry. And they're just like, they're so good together. And she's great. I mean, that's one thing, though. I was joking to my husband, Chuck, talking about prepping for this. And he's never seen this movie, which obviously I must rectify that this week. But I was like, the one thing is, that you do get to find a little bit unbelievable is that, Charles Rocket's character, Ted, isn't sexually interested in his fiancée, and it's Geena Davis. Like,
yeah, that's a little weird.
That's
Geena
really,
Davis looking real good.
Oh, I mean, that's a fox. That's just a stone cold fox right there.
Geena Davis still looks good now. Geena Davis looks good all the time.
That's a beautiful woman. And it's not to be shallow. She's got a great brain and great talent, but, but come on, it's Geena Davis. What's wrong with you, dude? But of course, Charles Rocket, I'm biased, but I think he did a great job and got to have some like good physical comedy towards the end of the movie, which was definitely one of his strong suits.
Yeah, he seems like he was a decent sort of fellow, but man, he slots right into villain roles on a really unctuous level. there's nothing quite like a Charles Rocket heavy.
Oh my god. Well, he was like one of those guys, it seemed like, especially in the 80s and 90s, like Cliff DeYoung, where it's like we need a handsome villain who's kind of a yuppie, kind of like an evil yuppie, you know? And
yeah, I think he's more of a 90s exemplar because the yuppie villain is owned part and parcel by Charles Rocket, I think.
Well, and he reminds me of how they use Christopher McDonald too. Like similarly, because like Christopher McDonald is known as like the comedy villain guy, you know. I mean, you could even make the case Michael McKean is. I mean, think of the Coneheads. Like, I mean, I love the Coneheads unabashedly. The movie's fucking amazing.
Well, that's fair because I love Transylvania 65000.
Wait, you don't like Coneheads? Come on. The soundtrack alone is amazing.
What that song like? I don't want to hold my cone alone.
Okay, well, you know what? Yeah. Agree to disagree, I guess.
It's all good.
I like the Coneheads.
See, Chris, you're not alone.
Yeah,
true. Man, I like that movie, but then I'm an Aykroyd apologist. So.
It's true. Father Malone is an Aykroyd apologist big time.
I respect that. Absolutely. As the guy that gave us Titty and Swear to God guy. Sorry, it's one of my favorite SNL sketches.
As also the man who gave us Nothing But Trouble.
Whew. Now, okay,
it's a flawed
Chris.
Masterpiece.
The movie is feces, Father Malone. Come on.
Okay,
it's a
Chris.
flawed masterpiece.
You pick. You have to watch one movie. Transylvania 65000 or Nothing But Trouble.
Nothing But Trouble because it has Chevy Chase in it.
See, and you did it for the worst reason.
Okay. Let me walk this back. Nothing But Trouble is a failure on a spectacular level, and it's an interesting failure. Transylvania 65000 is just a boring failure.
Oh my god. My heart. You're breaking it.
At least Nothing But Trouble goes out of its way to be as bizarre. It is a trip inside Dan Aykroyd's waking nightmares. That is what that film is. In like condensed down, like you could put it in an eyedropper on your tongue and be like, I'm inside Dan Aykroyd's brain. That's what that film is. Transylvania 65000 is just a movie made by a chemical company trying to launder money out of Eastern Europe.
Like that's a bad thing?
Heather Drain paid off by Dow Chemical Company.
That's right.
You're just nitpicking at this point, man.
Yeah, it's nitpicking.
Fuck you guys.
What's wrong with being sexy, Chris?
Yeah, that's true. I will say, though, we're talking about this idea of Geena Davis, like, in almost all of the movies we've done this month, aside from Transylvania 65000, they have not played up Geena Davis as a good-looking woman. And it's so weird. Because in Fletch, she plays second fiddle to Chevy Chase. Transylvania 65000, she's sexy. In The Fly, there's a sex scene in the film, but it's more about Jeff Goldblum than her in that scene. And this is the first film this month where it's like she is like being played up as like a sexy woman. And that's just weird to me that it took the final film of this month to finally be like, yes, she is attractive. I mean, even in Beetlejuice, her attractiveness is downplayed because she's meant to be normal and plain looking.
I do have to say one more thing about Transylvania 65000. No. It ties to what you're saying. I swear, that's what it's saying. Geena Davis and her attractiveness. A good friend of mine from college once confessed when he first saw that movie as a kid, he got his first erection and he didn't know what it was. He was like, "Wow, he thought he needed to pee. It's like it's full," and But so that's the power of Geena Davis. As a vampirist.
I've been saying it all along.
The scene in this film where she walks down after having her transformation done, or I guess mid-transformation, and it is a towel and legs. It's like, where was this in Transylvania 65000? They were focusing on something else. And like
they didn't recognize what they had. That's all.
This film plays her up as like a bona fide like sex goddess.
Yeah, in that scene in particular, she also seems gargantuan.
Yes, that too. She seems like 6'5".
Yeah. Which
is not shy of where she actually is. She's like 6'1" or 6'2", I think.
6'2", yeah.
Yeah. She's a tall, leggy beauty.
Yeah, she's good in this movie. She does.
Oh, she's
and she doesn't
great.
do the manic pixie dream girl thing that I was expecting her to do.
No, I mean, that's the thing. This film is actually, and I'm sure a lot of people, if they haven't seen it and they just see the title, they're going to be like, oh, that's cute, Heather. But no, there is like a smartness to it. And something like you were talking about Father Malone with Julie Brown's music. And, you know, of course, she worked on this film. This is, part of her project. There is like a smartness to it because even though like, Geena Davis's character Valerie she has kind of a naiveness about her, but she never seems like an unlikable. She doesn't seem like a dumbass. Like, she's a good person. You really like her. You want good things to happen to her. And Geena Davis pulls that off. She's able to give this character like so much personality. And where you're just kind of rooting her on. And her friendship with Julie Brown's character Candy is real sweet too, because later on when they're in the car and Valerie's fretting about Ted and how could he do this to her? And, Candy just says, well, you spent all this time trying to make him happy. Who's making you happy? And I mean, like, that's a good friend. Like, that's such a cool little, like, kind of just it's a small statement, but it kind of just, like, yeah, girl, like, stop wasting your time trying to please somebody that isn't worthy of you. Find your own happiness.
Geena Davis definitely brings out a level where, as you said, the character is naive, but she's not a dummy. And it could have been very easy to sort of slip into more of a caricature. But because it's Geena Davis, we get a smart character who we can really care about. So, like, her and Jeff Goldblum both sort of, like, anchor the movie as far as the level of gravity it needs to, not just be a music video for an hour and a half.
Well, and he's such a great kind of contrast because, like Damon Wayans and Jim Carrey, like, they're kind of like the goofy aliens. Like, they're real likable, but they're almost remind me of like just sort of like teenage boys constantly getting in trouble and tipping cows or whatever. And Jeff Goldblum's kind of like the wacky dad that's occasionally like, all right, guys, calm down. And, but he's really funny too. Like, Jeff Goldblum adds just like little quirks. Like, at one point where they're in a hospital, he's just kind of starts looking at these flowers. Like you think he's going to start eating them. And he doesn't, but he's so good. I mean, he's great at everything. I mean, this is such a great cast. But yeah, like, this too, I'm kind of surprised this film isn't, I mean, I know it bombed at the box office, but I'm surprised it isn't like a bigger cult hit, because there's, there are films that are cult hits that I think are lesser than Earth Girls Are Easy.
Many
yeah.
cult films are lesser than this film. Yeah, and speaking of Jeff Goldblum, when we talked about Transylvania 65000, like, remember Mike White was of the opinion that, like, Jeff Goldblum was really unlikable because his character was so grating and angry in that movie. And I felt in that case that I thought his performance was really good because that's a side of him we don't ordinarily see. And this is another one where this kind of aloof thing that he's doing as an alien, it reminds me of Jeff Bridges' performance as in Starman in a way. But yeah, it just, I don't know. He just... I like seeing other sides to him other than the sort of bag of quirks that we've been given since the 1990s,
Since he was Ian Malcolm. Because all it is, and we've talked about it, we've alluded to it a little bit before in the podcast, but I think tonight on this episode, we just address it full on. It must suck, but at the same time be great, because he, along with several other actors, cannot get out from underneath who we think they are all the time, which may or may not be the case, but our assumption is that is the truth. He's like Will Ferrell. Like, Will Ferrell hasn't played a different character since Anchorman.
True.
And Jeff Goldblum hasn't really played a character other than Ian Malcolm since Jurassic Park.
Right, and, Cary Grant was always Cary Grant, so there's room for that, and he does that well, but he was also a really good actor and could do a nuanced thing like this. That's,
Well, it's weird that people forget that too, because I remember, of course, this film is really probably obscure at this point, but there was a film he was in called Mr. Frost, where he's basically playing the devil. Scary. And he's very intense in it, and it's really good. And yeah, I mean, he's one of those guys that can actually do a lot more than kind of what people expect of him, which honestly are statements I would, and I actually said earlier about Geena Davis. I'd say the same things about Charles Rocket. Like for the Rocket Files, like I did a piece on a movie that he was a lead in called Down Twisted, which is like this mid-80s action film by Albert Pyun. And it's really good. And he's a great lead. And he's playing the hero. He's not, he's not playing the kind of the Charles Rocket role that we were alluding to earlier.
Is he like a private eye in that movie? In like the jungle?
Kind of, yeah. He's kind of a character that has different shades to him, but he ends up... and that film has some great 80s like lighting and sets, and that one is begging to be released on DVD or Blu-ray. It also has Tom Matthews in it, who's great from Return of the Living Dead.
Matthews.
I know, and he's so good in it. He's like a super villain. He looks like a super villain out of like Buckaroo Banzai or something in it. Like he's so good.
Another great film starring Jeff Goldblum. However, Jeff Goldblum given nothing to do in that movie, which is fine.
Oh yeah, that's
he is in that movie.
He is, and
he doesn't do anything, but he is there.
Hey, he gets to be part of that. That movie legit has one of my favorite outro sequences ever in a movie where they're all walking.
It was so good. It was so good. Wes Anderson copied it. So good that he copied it with one of the actors from the movie in it.
Jeff Goldblum has the best line in Buckaroo Banzai. Why is there a watermelon here?
Why is there a watermelon? But it is unfortunate, I think, for Jeff Goldblum in a way. But, I've seen videos of him, like during this pandemic, obviously, Disney was doing this whole, like, we'll have a celebrity read to your kids, which is super weird, but whatever. And, like, Jeff Goldblum read a story to, maybe those are his kids, I don't know, or his grandkids. Hey, it's Hollywood. Peace, love, and whatever, my dude. But, like, he seemed like that person that I expect him to be is who he is. So maybe it's not that big of a deal. But like you said, Father Malone, like, we know Jeff Goldblum is an amazing actor. Go watch The Fly. Like, I will put The Fly and him as Seth Brundle up against any other movie where it's a dramatic performance under pounds of makeup. And Jeff Goldblum will take that trophy every time.
Certainly.
Even in this movie. He has a great performance, and he's underneath shitloads of makeup.
Goldblum's got the goods, man.
Yeah, I think what impresses me the most about him in this movie, though, is he still retains like some of the alien aspects of the character out of that costume and makeup too. Because I think that would be harder in a way. Like if you're in a suit and a mask, you've got the physical, kind of totem to help you. I would think as an actor, kind of realize that you as kind of yourself, like at least physically, still having to do that. It's got to be a little trickier, and he's great. One thing I found in my research for this episode was a little clip that he was interviewed on some news show. They asked him about Earth Girls Are Easy, which I was amazed. I was like, wow, that's cool. And he was so cool. And this looks somewhat recent. Like he was just talking about how much the movie was fun to make. And he mentioned how much Julien Temple loved Angeline and was so excited to get her. And just said he had a lot of fun. Just said the film was, and he clearly seemed proud of it, which I thought was cool. Because it always kind of breaks your heart when you see an actor you love talk about a film you love that isn't maybe one of the more popular things, and they kind of play it down or they don't want to talk about it, and you're always like, oh,
like come a stake through the heart, yeah.
Yeah. So that was really nice to see him just kind of be like, oh, and he's like, oh, and there's Geena Davis and she's great. He was just so sweet.
Well, I mean, when you have a career like Jeff Goldblum, who, I mean, he hasn't really been the leading man in a long time. And so, I think he's gotten to the point now where he's just enjoying the things that people love him for, which is great because there's a lot of stuff. A lot.
I mean, he could really rest on his laurels. The man's done great work, I
mean, if you rested on The Fly, that's pretty good in and of itself.
Would have been good there, yeah.
Yeah, and then you have a film like this. I mean, to your point, Heather, it is weird to me that this film isn't, it's weird to me that this film doesn't have a bigger following. Because it feels really, perfect for that.
And it does. And I mean, come on, companies, give us this print remastered. It's going to look $1 million. Get that commentary. Get Julien Temple. Get Julie Brown. Get Jeff Goldblum. Shit, get Geena Davis. Give us those supplements. Because the DVD, which is several years old and out of print, has special features. And in fact, you were talking about, Father Malone, with the musical sequence, and there's other stuff too. Come on. Like, there's so many things that are on Blu-ray that you're like, really? Like, this is on Blu-ray, but Earth Girls are easy? Is it? Come on.
I, for one, I'd really like to hear what Julien Temple has to say about the movie and the choices he made, you know? Like, it's kind of shocking to me that there isn't that available. Because if you go to look this movie up just on the internet, like, you know, you can get some information about its production, whatever, but not a ton. There's never been like a scholarly account of it.
No. It almost seems like people that kind of write about his work tend to skip this one. It's like, oh, he did Absolute Beginners. It's like, well, yeah, but he did Earth Girls Are Easy, which I honestly, this may be not a popular opinion, I prefer Earth Girls Are Easy to Absolute Beginners. And I hate saying that in a way because I love David Bowie. And of course, Ray Davies. My favorite scene in that movie is the Ray Davies sequence because I'm a massive Kinks fan. I love Ray Davies. But I enjoy Earth Girls Are Easy more. Like, I've seen Absolute Beginners, I think twice. I've seen Earth Girls Are Easy at least 5 or 6 times. So the proof's in the pudding.
I watch this movie at least once a year.
That's awesome.
I mean, it is a movie that, you know, it used to be you could just have the TV on and a movie would come on, and no matter where it was, you would watch from that point.
Yeah.
But now with streaming and everything and sort of physical media, you actually have to choose the movie you're going to sort of zone out to. This, to me, is a perfect movie just to even have on in the background if I'm doing something, which isn't a testament to the cinematic cinematic brilliance of the film or anything, but it's so comforting to just have on, you know, like, I don't know. I adore the film. I think it comes from a really sweet place and kind of pays off that way.
Well, and again, like you mentioned before, Father Malone, it does kind of go into that portfolio of, I would consider this to be in the same portfolio of movies regarding LA as like True Romance. Like, it's that same milieu of Los Angeles. And I'm with you. Like, I love that way of portraying Los Angeles as kind of this like weird, it seems like a city out of time in a way almost. And
yeah, but in this film,
I don't know any other way to describe
that.
it. Like, if you watch it, you get it.
Yeah, I mean, certain films just sort of do that and are a perfect either snapshot or glorification of what we expected that the object itself to be at the time. And I think this is definitely one of them. Definitely caps off the end of the 80s. You can see the style starting to shift from one decade to the other in this film, which is another aspect of it that I really like. I also want to point out one thing, because we were watching the movie last night, and my girl Jess pointed out that usually in a movie when a character ends up saying the title of the movie, it's just a jarring, lame...
Hello and welcome to Tumbleweeds and TV Cowboys. My name is Hunter. In this podcast, I'll be joined by a different guest each week to discuss a classic Western movie or TV show. I've been a fan of classic Westerns for as long as I can remember, and in recent years, they've become very nostalgic for me. I love the aesthetic, the tropes, and I love seeing different filmmakers' takes on them. At their best, they're incredibly entertaining, rewatchable, and some of my all-time favorite movies are Westerns. We'll mostly focus on Western movies made in Hollywood, but we'll also be covering spaghetti Westerns, and one thing I'm very excited to get into are Western TV shows. I've got some amazing guests coming on the show, film professors, historians, and podcasters. And Tumbleweeds and TV Cowboys is part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network, and many guests on the show will be from other shows on the network. Thanks for listening.
Moment, but the way they work it into this film is absolute brilliance. I just didn't want you to think that Earth Girls Are Easy. It's just it's just, I don't know. That was a marvel to me.
It is easy.
Brilliant titular line. Also, did you guys think their love scene was slightly, I mean, just slightly, but slightly reminiscent to like the love scene in Man Who Fell to Earth?
Oh yeah, certainly. I think that was by design.
Okay, cool. Because I was, especially watching it, I'm like, man, this is like Man Who Fell to Earth. Like, but happy.
You know what I like about that scene in particular is the way it transitions immediately into her dream, which is a nightmare of all of these kitschy aliens and what we have been fed sort of pop culturally of aliens, like, is on the heels of that. That's probably my favorite scene in the entire movie, that scene sort of transitioning into the other. Like, that's Julien Temple, like, working at the top of his game, I think.
Oh, totally. Also, some little digs I thought were hilarious, like little kind of touches about how awful and yuppie scum Ted is as a character, is that he's named his fish after like luxury cars, because like one of the fish is like Beamer and Aston Martin, and Mercedes is the most prized one. But also I noticed like when they're going to his car leaving the hospital, his car has a bumper sticker for George Bush.
Yeah. They ticked all the boxes on him. They really wanted to let you know who he was.
Oh my God. See, yeah, no wonder she ran off with the alien. It's like, oh fuck.
I didn't understand why she even went back to him though in the movie. Like
that's contrived as hell.
Yeah, like that's the one part of the movie where I just thought to myself, I was like, this is the only part of the movie where you're showing your hand a little too much. And it's unnecessary. Like, you don't need to convince us that she can realize she wants to be with Jeff Goldblum's character. It's pretty obvious. And it felt like the extra 5 minutes tacked on. I mean, the movie, my only real issue with the movie is, and this factors into it, is how long it is. It's an hour and 40 minutes, and it probably should have been like an hour and a half.
Yeah, I think some judicious trimming could have gotten it down to that and quickened the pace, because the movie kind of cries out for a quick pace. So, yeah, I agree with that.
And like the way the movie wraps up, like it for how the final act of the film progresses, with Geena Davis just randomly taking her dickhead fiance back and then randomly leaving him again at the end, it feels like a rush job. It really does.
Also, were you guys worried for her cat? Like, because she leaves her cat behind, which Ted hates this cat. And this isn't a criticism because I just thought it was funny. He keeps calling the cat Psycho, and we hear the cat hiss at him, but you never see the cat hiss. Like, the cat just looks chill as hell. But you hear it dubbed in like
ADR hissing.
Yes, but so he, Mac puts his love beam or whatever on the two. It doesn't work on Valerie because she's in love with Mac. But then Ted is left in the empty pool, like calling the cat like some other woman's name and like petting it salaciously. And I'm like, is he gonna rape the cat? Like, what is going on? Like, I'm like, Julie Brown, get the cat away from this man.
Yeah. Her and Woody need to pry him away from that feline.
Yes. Oh man, wouldn't it be great if her character and Woody hooked up?
Yeah, I'm sure it was going to happen.
I love it. Oh, and by listening, Woody is this amazing sort of beach bum surfer character played by Michael McKean. And of course, Michael McKean's great. Got another great actor in this, and he's like, he's like his comment about like the spaceship and the pool, and Mac's like, oh, it's a car, and he's like, oh, that makes sense. That happens to me all the time.
Yeah.
Apparently, Michael McKean was supposed to play Charles Rocket's role. Their roles were supposed to be reversed.
Really?
Which I can see, because Michael McKean, like as you mentioned, Father Miller, he can play a good kind of sleazy.
Oh yeah, he's a good villain. He can play Charles the villain really well.
Oh yeah, and Charles Rocket he's funny as Ted, but I mean he could definitely play like the sort of goofy beach bum. But he's so good. He's so good as Ted, though. I mean, it's kind of like, I'm glad that they kept it like this. I'm glad they flipped it.
By the way, did you like their alien language, which was just the sentence said backwards?
Yeah. Great. They've been doing that since forever, man. This is a really weird sounding language. It's literally just English backwards, dum-dums. Come on.
So silly.
Hey, it worked. It worked in the Black Lodge.
That's true.
And damn it, it works here too.
Yeah,
that's true.
So is there anything else we want to talk about on this movie?
I love this movie. I just want to say that again.
Same. It's great. Everybody seek it out and demand it get a good release. That it justly
does deserve
deserves.
a good release. I will agree with that. And you know what? You can watch it in its entirety on YouTube. So
don't do that, though.
I mean, it would probably be no better than the version you could procure otherwise.
My DVD looks great.
I was about to say, the DVD, the special edition DVD, which I think you can still get at a decent price used. Excuse me. Yeah, it's really good. The menu is cheesy as hell, but
I love it.
But the menu's great. It actually does have real special features as opposed to, because this DVD came out in an era where I think companies were still trying to pull off the special features. It has a digital menu. It's like, that's not a special feature. Yeah. But,
so do you have the version with the special features? It's a television set that you're scrolling through the channels.
Yes.
Valley cable. Yeah.
Which is kind of brilliant. At first, when I discovered that, I was like, oh, Oh, cool. Yeah. But
that's like a lost art form. Like the DVD menus. Like they used to be a thing, right? Like
yeah, but then they realized we were sick of waiting 30 seconds to get to the scene selection. Now we're gonna do a little skit. This skit is gonna drive you mental by the third time you hear it.
That's fair.
I mean, do they still do Easter eggs? Like I remember if there was like a period for a while where
oh my god, gotta push
Easter
left
eggs.
3 times.
If you highlight this area and then click to the right, you'll highlight this random thing, and you click on it, and the director will call you a big piece of shit. Why did you find this?
That's my favorite Easter egg, is getting verbally abused by the filmmaker.
It was actually on the Fitzcarraldo DVD. You click to the right, and Werner Herzog's just like, you are a piece of shit.
Okay, that isn't on my copy of Fitzcarraldo, and now I'm mad. I'm mad.
Right, that's the Kino
deserve a
Lorber
refund.
Special edition version.
Yeah, Anchor Bay did not have that on their edition.
Oh, man. So, barring a Blu-ray release of this film, which hopefully, again, weirder and less mainstream starred films have gotten releases, so I'm shocked this one hasn't. Barring that, Heather, what would you give this film out of 5?
Oh, gosh. I'm so bad at this. I hate doing the the ratings. I'd give it a 4.3. No, 4.5. I'm going to give it a 4.5.
What about you, Father Malone?
Oh, you know what? I'm giving it a 4.5. It's a fucking good movie, and everyone should see it.
I agree. I mean, again, it is in the vein of other movies that I like. So I'm going to give it a 4 just because of the final kind of third of the movie is a little bit of a mess. But it is a movie that I'm surprised more people haven't seen because it feels kind of, not Beetlejuice-esque, but kind of, like, it feels like other movies that I've seen in a way that's like, this should have been brought up in that conversation, and it's not. And also, sci-fi comedies are very hard to do, and this film does it pretty well. Sci-fi comedies and horror comedies are not easy to do, because there are more bad ones than good ones.
It's a neat little souffle of a movie.
There's a lot going on, let's just put it that way. There's a lot of weird shit that's not explained going on, so...
Exactly.
Like,
and you will never ask the question, why did that happen?
Does their hair grow back? That's all I want to know.
You know it's going to.
That's going to be itchy. Oh, my God.
I know.
Time for a sequel.
You know what? Earth Girls Are Easy 2 could happen in 2020.
Oh, certainly. Should.
In 2020, anything is possible. Now that we've gotten Bill and Ted 3, anything is possible.
Yeah.
I'm down. Bring back Julie Brown. Bring back Geena. Bring back Jeff Goldblum.
Everybody's still alive.
Well, Charlie's not.
Well, yeah,
sadly,
sure.
But
yeah, I don't think he'd be in the sequel anyway.
Yeah, he probably wrote himself out of the sequel by being the villain in the first one. And unless he's in jail for fucking a cat, so... I mean, that's what they were alluding to at the end of the movie. It's not my job, that was their job. They're the ones who did it, not me.
I'm not blaming you, Chris.
But on that horrifying note, let's take a break and we'll talk about the movies we're doing next month.
Vampires, perverted creatures of the night. This ancient evil is now a modern industry, backed by big money. Specialists in abduction, brainwashing, and murder.
We're simply a superior race of people who, over the centuries, have proved that the drinking of the vital human essence confers youth, power.
Chantal Conturi is Kate. She's young. She's in love. She's the next victim of thirst.
This thirst is in all of us.
Not in me! Not me.
The family as noble as hers, I'm sure the old thirst will not have died out.
David Hemmings and Henry Silver are the doctors of the diabolical.
Welcome to the Brotherhood, Miss Davis. Baroness.
Their human farm is a living nightmare where science goes mad.
Private Dairy brings our lifestyle up to date. Each carefully selected blood cow is absolutely free from anti-tetanus serum, pollens, and antibiotics.
You can run. You can hide. But you cannot escape thirst.
That's right, on the next Kulturecast, we're going to be talking about Thirst, which kicks off our Australian Horror-tober, otherwise known as Horror-tober Down Under, because it's October and we like horror movies. And unlike most of y'all, we actually watch horror movies all the time, not just in October. I know, weird.
Yeah, fuckers.
We like the genre so much, it's not just something we say we like when it's October, turds. Oh, Jesus. But yeah, we're going to be talking about some Australian horror films, and we're kicking it off with Thirst. And I have not seen any of the movies next month, so maybe October should have been You've Never Seen.
Sequel.
Part 2. This is the amended version. This is the what did they call it for fucking Alien 3? The work print cut. This is the work print cut. Yeah, whatever.
There you go.
Oh, Jesus. Until then, where can people find you, Heather?
Well, they can find me over on my website, mondoheather.com, and you can also find me on Twitter and Instagram under the handle, appropriate enough, Mondo Heather.
What about you, Father Malone?
You can check me out over on my YouTube channel, OughtFiveFilms, OughtFiveFilms. I've got a show called You've Never Seen, about movies that you've never seen. Even if you've seen them, you haven't seen them. And you can hear me over on Chronicles from the Crypt. That's the podcast Chris and I do about the HBO television series Tales from the Crypt. And you can hear me with Chris and Mr. Mike White discussing the Twilight Zone revival from 1985. That's Dreams for Sale, the Twilight Zone 85 podcast.
And as for me, you can find me on Twitter at casualty_Chris. That's where I talk about all the podcasts that I do, so I won't talk about them here. Patreon.com/Kulturecast is where you can find the Patreon for the podcast. $1 is all it takes to get monthly content that you can only find there, where we talk about a movie that has William Hurt in it. Great. William Hurt's fucking boring. That's a real thing.
You should have consulted me.
Well, you left us all of two options, Tootsie or Accidental Tourist.
And you didn't watch Tootsie.
Because Geena Davis won an Oscar for Accidental Tourist.
Yeah,
the pedigree, the assumption of the pedigree of the film was there.
Yes, but that same pedigree could have also knocked out Earth Girls Are Easy, and I would never do that to you.
Yeah, but Earth Girls Are Easy, I wasn't expecting it to be some grand foray into drama. It's exactly what I needed and wanted, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, well, I'm not defending Accidental Tourist by any measure.
Please
anyway.
Don't. Please don't, for the love of God.
I completely forgot that movie existed.
You know what? And 5 minutes from now, you will forget again. Because it's a fucking boring movie. But if you want to hear us talk about it, patreon.com/Kulturecast is where you can find it for $1. That's all it takes. As always, thanks to Heather and Father Malone, and to Father Malone for programming the month. You've Never Seen September is over. So long live You've Never Seen September until next year. So there you go. And we'll catch you on the next episode.